Andy, if we were, let's say, we're doing another project together, and we're gonna put together a guide for any Latino profession, young Latinos out there, either that they were born here or like us, that they at some point in their life, young or a little bit older, they came to this country, and we want to help them be as successful as possible in their careers. We want to help them achieve that the great reputation that you have achieved. And I'm sure that this is just a little bit of, when we look at the end of your career, what you have achieved so far, it's going to look like maybe 10%. So if we were building that guide together, what would be the two, three, five things that you would recommend them to do? If we're building a roadmap, let's say, go to college, I don't know, sign for some leadership fellowships, like what would that plan look like?
I think the first thing would be to expand your expectations. So I think we are all, to some extent, a product of our environment.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know what we don't know. So for me personally, I grew up in the inner city. I grew up low income. My mom was a housekeeper. My dad was a mechanic. And during the summers, I used to help my mom clean houses in the rich parts of Los Angeles. And that was an interesting experience for me because it opened my eyes to other parts and realities of our city that then sparked other thoughts for me about what's possible, and especially given the circumstance that I was growing up in. So in a weird way, cleaning houses in the rich parts of LA actually challenged or expanded some of the expectations that I had about this world and this life. So I think that would be the first thing. The second thing that I would encourage people to have in their guide would be to not be afraid to ask for things. And we can touch on that a little bit more, but whenever I look at my career trajectory, and career, I mean, from the time I was in school, K through 12, I have always advocated for myself because I expected to have a great education. And so I can tell you many different stories about how I've done that over the years and how I do that to this day. I advocate for the causes that I'm involved in. I advocate for the organization that I lead, the leaders that I support, and the kids that I'm hoping, education will improve for. So that's the second thing, is I would say to ask. And then the third thing that I would encourage people to include in their guide would be to constantly learn. And I know you mentioned, for instance, going to college. That for a lot of people gives them a pathway to a completely different quality of life, but it doesn't have to just be college. It has to be a passion for being a lifelong learner and expanding your knowledge base. We are so fortunate to live in a time where you can pick up so many books on so many things that before maybe it was not as accessible. And so the more knowledge you accumulate and the more expertise that you build, both from reading, but also from work experience, the better you're going to be able to position yourself to do the things that you want to do.